Okay, so it's day 17 for this day book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Due to some personal reasons, I couldn't make video yesterday, so that's why I make today two parts, two videos in a row. Okay, so it's a first part. It's a still second part of chapter 2. As I said earlier, we have four parts in one chapter. Now, first part is normal chapter. Second part that this study session, and third part is that quote which is said by Robert T. Kiyosaki, and the fourth part is questions. Okay, so it's the second part for 17th day of Rich Dad Poor Dad. Let's get started. As you all know, the chapter name is Why Teach Financial Literacy. So in this study session, there was summary of whole chapter. So we will start one by one. Okay. We revisit Robert and Mike some three and half decades later. Mike has taken over his father's company and he's doing an even better job than the rich dad did. As for Robert, he retired in 1994 at age 47. His and his wife's wealth is growing automatically like a well-established tree. He shares a short story of 1923 meeting of some of our greatest leaders and richest businessmen. When who owned the largest steel and gas company, who ran the New York Stock Exchange, and who sat in President Harding Cabinet. 20 years later, most of their lives had ended tragically. ठीक है, with the man either broke, exile, and in prison. In 1929, stock crash and Great Depression likely played a part in their faces. But today we live in a time and even more turmoil and change than they did. More important than money to our survival is our education and ability to learn. It's not how much money you make, but how much money you keep and how many generations you keep it. That's important, okay? When people ask Robert where to start getting rich, he gives them a smart answer his rich dad gave him. If you want to be rich, you need to be financially literate. Robert compared the way many people act as building and skyscrapers on a slab made for a small home because kids graduate school with little financial education. They launch into their adult like chasing the American dreaming but find themselves deep in debt. The only way out that they can see in get rich strategy. But without having a financial literacy background, their efforts are like building a skyscraper on a weak foundation. Instead of creating the Empire State Building, they end up with a learning tower of suburbia. Robert and his childhood friend Mike, however, were given a strong foundation worthy of skyscraper thanks to teaching Rich Dad. Accounting as a subject is boring, confusing, and absolute crucial to financial success. To make it accessible to kids, Rich Dad used picture to teach it to the boys, two boys. Teach it to your two boys. Hmm. Teach it to the two boys. Rule number one, Robert says, is that you must know the difference between an asset and liability and only buy asset. That's all you need to know. But despite it being so simple, it's something that many people don't understand. When Rich Dad first explained it to two known teenagers, they thought he was kidding. How could adults not understand this? Shouldn't everyone be rich? The problem is that most people have been educated differently by bankers, financial planners, and others. So they must unlearn what they think they know. Some find this demeaning to return a such basic introduction. The term asset and liabilities. So in this page, what's the summary of this page? I think it's been blurred. I think their camera is still not capturing the proper right images. So I'll telling you in short in this chapter is this page saying. In this page is to roughly it was that how rich manage their money and how poor and middle class manage their money. Rich mostly buy assets that those assets generate their income, and mostly rich middle class and poor buy liabilities which go through their expenses and take out their money cash flow pattern. And in these two pages, the diagram says that how poor person cash flow pattern works, their income statement and their balance sheet, asset column and liabilities. There is nothing balance sheet, there nothing in balance sheet like asset and no column. They have a job which generate their income, that salary, and that salary will spend their expenses like taxes, rent, food, transportation, etc. After that, middle class have some partition in balance sheet but only in liability side, ठीक है, no asset side, ठीक है. After that, how cash flow rich mostly invest their money in liabilities, building their assets, and that then these assets will generate their income, ठीक है, generate their income. So that's the difference between a mentality. It's all about how you think, ठीक है, how you think. It's not about it's seem impossible to those who can't even imagine the thing you are imagine that. But believe in yourself. Whatever you think, believe, pursue, will make it happen in one day, ठीक है. Often those in debt think the answer is to make money more, but not only will more money will not solve their problem, but it may compounds them, ठीक है. It's why many people who get sudden windfall through the lottery or an inheritance, for instance, so quickly burn through it, and increase in cash only result in increasing spending, ठीक है. What is missing for so many people is financial education. It's why they might end up successfully in their professional but still struggling with money. They must have learned how to make money but not how to manage it, ठीक है. People can be very intelligent and still be illiterate when it comes to finance. They learned how to work hard for money, but not how to make money work harder for you, work harder for them. Okay, Robert tells the story of a young couple. Okay, तो इस पेज में क्या होता है, इस पेज में क्या है बेसिकली इन शॉर्ट में कि रॉबर्ट जो होता है वो उन दोनों को, रॉबर्ट जो होता है शॉर्ट स्टोरी समझाता है दो कपल्स की कि कैसे वो स्टार्टिंग में दोनों एम्प्लॉय होते हैं, स्टेप बाय स्टेप करके उनकी सैलरी हाइक होनी स्टार्ट हो जाती है. जैसे उनकी सैलरी हाइक होती है तो वो अपने सोशल स्टेटस मेंटेन करने के लिए अपने एक घर बाय करते हैं, ठीक है, घर बाय करते हैं. फिर थोड़े दिनों बाद उनका कैसे बेबी हो जाता है, तो फिर वो एक रेट रेस में फंस जाते हैं, ठीक है. तो वो ये इसमें इन शॉर्ट में ये था कि तभी उन्होंने बताया कि हमेशा अपनी जो कैपिटल है उसको डाइवर्सिफाइड वे में रखना चाहिए, लाइक अपने एसेट्स भी ग्रो होने चाहिए, बट मोस्ट फोकस हमारा एसेट्स में होना चाहिए कि हमारे बेसिकली मोस्ट ऑफ द फोकस इज ऑन एसेट कॉलम, सो दैट आवर एसेट विल बी ग्रो रैपिडली, सो वी डोंट हैव टू एनी वरीज अबाउट हाउ वी मैनेज आवर एक्सपेंसेस, ठीक है. So, because of large amount of Robert and Mike spent sitting on a meeting with rich dad and learn how from the intelligent peoples surround himself with. They learned a lot, ठीक है, and they learned to question the standard dogma taught in their school. It begins to cause problem and make them grow distant from their teachers. Robert also began disagreeing with his own fathers over money matters, especially when it comes to his poor dad's view that his home is our greatest investment. In contrast, rich dad saw him home as a liability. Okay, many people still believe that their home is an asset, but Robert teaches that a home is liability because it takes money out of your pocket, not only with taxes and expenses, but because of its loss in value and the opportunity when missed when all your money tied up in your home, and that causes you to lose out on education and investment experiences. That doesn't mean you can't even buy a bigger house, but make sure first buy a first asset then that will generate your cash. I'll mark this one out. Never ever invest your lump sum amount of money in liabilities. So in short, so the main focus of chapter 2 is distinguish between assets and liability. We all have that much knowledge of what are assets and what are liability. In short, assets are the things which makes money in your pocket, and liability are the things which makes money goes out of your pocket. ठीक है. So in short में तो मिडिल क्लास, so in short में अगर हम बात करें तो ये होता है. अब इसमें ना एक चीज़ बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसमें हमारी बात हुई थी चैप्टर फर्स्ट में भी लेफ्ट हेमिस्फेयर, राइट हेमिस्फेयर एंड मिडिल हेमिस्फेयर. मतलब लेफ्ट में क्या चलता है, राइट में क्या चलता है और मिडिल में क्या चल रहा है, वो इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो इसमें कहा गया है कि लुक्स एट द नंबर्स एंड लर्न टू रीड द स्टोरी दे आर टेलिंग. Numbers are very important. You believe it or not, number tells you the real fact of anything. ठीक है. Assets put money in your pocket. If something takes money out of your pocket, it's not an asset, it's a liabilities. What are assets? अगर आप एग्जांपल दें, so okay. Left right hemisphere balance sheet draws help explain the movement of money through different people's life. बैलेंस शीट जो होती है ना वो बताती है. ठीक है. बैलेंस शीट हमें बताती है कि हमारे बहुत सारी चीज़ें क्या चल रही हैं, लाइक क्या मूवमेंट चल रहा है एक पीपल की लाइफ में. सबकॉन्शियस मूवमेंट, द फियर ऑफ ऑस्ट्रेशियम कॉज पीपल टू कन्फर्म टू एंड नॉट क्वेश्चन. ऑस्ट्रेशियम कॉज का मतलब हो सकता है कि लाइक पीछे छूटने का डर, सब कुछ खोने का डर. ठीक है. इज टू कन्फर्म टू दैट yeah, this is a right. Don't use your brain, just do what the other people do. ठीक है. That is ostracism causes financially determinant. So what was Robert saying? अब Robert, okay, so this from here the second part of this book was over. ठीक है. second part is over. ठीक है. second part is over. So yeah, this from here, this is second part is over. From now it comes to third part of this book. ठीक है. third part of this book. So do this. I'll end this video here and I'll back to you with next video with third part of this book.